And last, but certainly not least, I wanted to make sure that he closed this out because I just know how much this issue has touched him as an individual throughout his life. And I believe that he has a keen understanding of what passes in this legislature for gun safety and what doesn't. And so with that, I want to give it the floor to my dear friend, my former seatmate, Representative Carlos Guillermo Smith.
Thank you, Leader Jenny, and thank you to all of my colleagues for being such incredible leaders on the issue of gun violence prevention. You know, what we have to understand is that the epidemic of gun violence is not an epidemic that is limited to impacting just our schools. This is an epidemic that is happening in supermarkets, mass shootouts. It's happening at universities. It's happening at nightclubs. It's happening at concerts. It's happening in our streets. Gun violence is happening everywhere. And we have to come forward with a comprehensive approach to tackle every single angle to save as many lives as we can. Yesterday, I had the honor of speaking at a Pulse Remembrance ceremony at the University of Central Florida. We are coming close to 6 years out from the horrific tragedy in Orlando that took the lives of 49 mostly LGBTQ people of color. But also just yesterday in Orange County, a 2-year-old child stumbled across a firearm in their home and accidentally killed their own father, a 2-year-old who was in a home where the gun was not properly stored, and according to the Orange County Sheriff, was easily accessible. So we know that there are a number of things that can be done on the issue of strengthening safe storage laws to save lives. But here in Orlando, as we're approaching 6 years out from the tragedy at Pulse nightclub, I know that those who are impacted by that tragic event in Central Florida, that even 6 years later, the urgency behind the need for gun violence prevention and bold action on gun safety reforms is just as powerful as it was on June 12, 2016. I feel as we approach this 6-year remembrance in Orlando that this time the remembrance feels different because there is hope amongst those who are directly impacted by gun violence that something will change, that if members of Congress can come together in a bipartisan way, as they're doing now, and we don't know what their final proposal will be, that if members of Congress can come together in a bipartisan way to move towards a solution, that members of the Florida legislature can do this as well. That we also have an obligation to close the many loopholes that exist in Florida law that have exposed our community to even higher risk and higher rates of gun violence. We have the fact that in the state of Florida, you can be 18 years old and still buy ammunition with no background check. So yes, we raised the age in Florida from 18 to 21 to buy a firearm. But if you're an 18-year-old who is disturbed, who is a potential harm to yourself or others, you can steal your parents' firearm, go straight to Walmart and buy all the bullets that you want without a single background check or age restriction. That is something that we need to address. We know that we need to expand red flag laws, as Senator Berman and Representative Skidmore have been advocating for many years, because Florida's red flag law is a model federally, but it's only a federal model because it establishes the floor of where we start and where these protections begin. It is not the ceiling. It needs to be expanded. And the question that I ask at this time, since us Democrats are ready to come to the table to discuss solutions to prevent gun violence, what is it that our Republican colleagues are offering? Is Governor DeSantis still insisting that before he leaves office, that he will sign legislation to allow permitless carry in the state of Florida, untrained carry, as many folks have described it, a proposal that has been proven, as the data has shown, in states where permitless carry exists, to have resulted in even more incidences of gun violence and death as it relates to gun violence. What is it that they are bringing forward? So we are ready to have this discussion. We've been ready for a really long time, and our constituents are demanding that we implement these solutions and come together to protect them and their families. And we accept the call, and we ask our Republican colleagues to join us. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Smith.